Real Virginia is proudly produced by the Virginia Farm Bureau Federation. Since 1926, Farm Bureau has been working to preserve Virginia farms and our rural heritage. Visit our website at vafb.com.
Hello everyone, and welcome to Real Virginia, a show about Virginia agriculture and the people who produce the wonderful local products we enjoy. Brought to you by the Virginia Farm Bureau. Virginia forest owners are being honored for caring for their timber a century or more. Raised beds are popular with many gardeners. And we visit Amherst County for our regular County Agricultural Close-Up feature.
Home will always be Virginia, between the Blue Ridge and Chesapeake Bay, Atlantic to Appalachia, home in my heart always.
Welcome back to Real Virginia, everyone. We're coming to you this week from Pocahontas State Park in Chesterfield County, where the main attraction are the trees. There is a state program that honors families who have kept their forest land intact for more than 100 years. Ricky Gibson has more.
Since 2016, the Virginia Department of Forestry has honored more than 50 landowners for their stewardship of a century forest, timberland that's been in the same family for at least 100 years. Just like participants in the popular Virginia Century Farm program, century forest owners have strong emotional ties to their land.
It's a wonderful thing to be able to walk through the woods and look and know that your grandparents, my grandfather was right here, and my father was here, and I'm here, and my granddaughter's here. My daughters have been here. My son-in-law, particularly Cora's dad, has hunted here and loves coming here to hunt. And these are memories. Memories can be bought. They can't be sold. And we're just so thankful that we've gotten the designation, because so many tracts of land have been split up, so many are cut over and change hands. And I understand people have to do what they have to do, but for us, the land means a great deal.
His family roots go back 6 generations in the Northern Neck, and Andrew Packett is the 3rd generation of his family to own and manage this forest land. He's been working with foresters to manage the property since he was 19 and takes pride in managing it both for continuity and to provide wildlife habitat.
I have memories of coming in planting the trees here back in 1962, as a young boy coming in planting the trees, and that I sold those trees as beautiful timber to pay for our daughter's education. For timber to reach its full maturity in pines, it's about 40 plus years. So depending if you wanted to get to that maturity, and that's a long commitment.
Packett loves to tell stories about hunting squirrels and other game in the woods as a boy. Fortunately, his family shares his love for that heritage.
It's easy to imagine that you're standing somewhere that, your family 100 years ago would have stood. And then to have that, growing up, you wonder who you're going to marry. And I never anticipated that, I would have the wonderful experience of marrying somebody who would love this place as deeply as I do and spend as much time. I think Dustin's probably spent as much more time at Red Hill than I have, just walking and hunting and enjoying it. And this morning we were hunting and we saw all kinds of birds, and we were wrapping up our hunt and then just stood and watched a titmouse and a black and white warbler.
I think I've stepped foot on every inch of that property. I've seen it, flooded. I've seen it bone dry. I've seen flocks of turkeys, lots of deer. I've seen the wood ducks come set in at sunset in the beaver pond back there. I've sat in a tree and watched minks play on the ground. The wildlife, you get the hardwoods and the pines, and you've got the marshy areas and the beavers, and there's just everything is just right there on the edge of Warsaw. that people, you know, hundreds of people drive by every day and they just completely clueless of what's beyond those pine trees. So it's pretty awesome to get in there and to be able to see that.
It takes some paperwork and documentation to get your property certified as a century forest, but Packett felt the recognition was important. He works with professional foresters to decide what trees to harvest and when to do controlled burns, and how to cut timber in an environmentally safe manner. Forest management is a business, and whether you raise crops or trees, he feels it's important to pass it to your heirs. That's why he took the time to do his estate planning early on.
I think that's very important, because then you can sleep at night knowing it in perpetuity. If you think that much of it and you value it enough to leave it to your children, or you want to leave it to them, then that's one of the most important parts, is spending that little bit of money to make sure it is passed down.
When I look at the forest, I see so many opportunities to make new memories and just enjoy life while we're living here, and to look back at the past and see all the great memories that we've made with friends and family, and just knowing that this is our life.
Packett knows that trees are a crop like any other. They just take much longer to be ready for harvest. The Century Forest recognition shows his family the importance of taking care of the forest land so future generations can not only enjoy it, but benefit from it.
As I look at this forest and I look at the whole designation of Century Forest for this Red Hill tract, it brings me great joy to know that one day my granddaughter or grandson will be able to hunt here, that they will make memories, that they'll be here and hear an pileated woodpecker, or they'll see the turkey run through, that they'll see a deer rubbing up against a cedar sapling, that they will walk these woods, that they will walk the roads to manage the property, and realize that everything of value has a responsibility.
In Richmond County, Virginia, I'm Ricky Gibson reporting.
Forestry is a vital part of Virginia's rural economy, with a total economic impact of $21 billion a year and almost 108,000 jobs. While Virginia is home to 2 national forests and 26 state forests, most timberland in the state is privately owned. In addition to providing income to rural landowners, forests provide valuable environmental benefits by capturing carbon and preventing runoff. They also contribute to the state's outdoor recreation and tourism industries. Whether you're hiking, camping, or just enjoying a campfire, Virginia's forests are a major reason why the Old Dominion is such a pleasant place to visit and live.
Hi, today we're going to be talking about raised beds from the ground up. Please stay tuned.
Hi, I'm Bill McDonald, a cattleman in Montgomery County, Virginia. A new Census of Agriculture will be mailed out this fall, and it's your chance to be counted, because your farm counts. If you're an ag producer who did not receive a 2017 census and you don't currently receive other USDA surveys, please sign up by going to the website on your screen. The Census of Agriculture is your voice, your future, and your opportunity.
Gardening is the nation's #1 hobby, and it's even easier with a raised bed. Chris Mullins with Virginia Cooperative Extension talks to some garden experts from the ground up.
Well, hi and welcome. Today we're at Virginia State University's Randolph Farm, and we're going to be talking about raised beds for the home gardener. I'm here with Dr. Leonard Kathinji. He is a professor and extension specialist here at VSU. Leonard, you got amazing amounts of raised beds here, and I think this can be good for a home gardener, but what do you think? And maybe if it is good for a home gardener, why would it be good for a home gardener?
Yeah, this bed gardening is very applicable in home gardening. First of all, the soil is not always great in urban area. It may have contaminants such as lead or arsenic. You want to stay away from that. The raised bed garden helps you to do that. But you can also have soil that is too compact. The only way to overcome that problem is to have a raised bed garden. Plus, it's very easy to work when you have a raised bed garden. You have some control environment, and it's just so easy to work on such a garden.
It makes perfect sense, and I see them quite often now. And I see ones like this. They're made out of dimensional lumber, and this is a really kind of tall one, but it's on the ground. Are there other types, other ways to build these that we can see?
Yeah, we have another side that you can see different kind of gardens that we have, but you can also use different materials like cinder blocks. You can also use plastic materials, but here all we have are made of lumber.
Okay. Well, let's go check out that other site now and see what you've got there. Hey, Rachel, how are you?
Good. How are you doing, Chris?
I'm good. What you planting here?
We got some kale ready to go in the ground.
Oh, that looks great. Love these raised beds.
Aren't they something?
Yeah, Leonard said you had a lot of raised beds here. It's a good place to come and visit.
We sure do. I can show you some more about it over here.
Wow, Rachel, this is great. I love this bed. And look at these amazing strawberries that you've got growing.
Yeah, they're really blooming right now. This is one of my favorite beds because of the height of it. I don't have to bend over at all to get into it.
I can see that.
But the key thing about building your raised beds is just to make sure that they are structurally sound. So one of the ways you can put them together on the corners is by using a wooden block on the inside, that post, and attaching them that way.
Okay.
You can also use like L brackets, or you can just straight bolt them in there.
Yep.
I prefer the L brackets. They really hold things together and they last a long, long time. The other thing is, if your bed is going to be over 6 foot, you want that middle board there in the middle, and it keeps these boards from bowing in and out. So it just holds everything together.
I can see that, and I see some of the heavier duty brackets you've got on some of the other beds, and it makes sense that those would last for a long time. And but I really like the way you've supported this corner here. That's great, because you have a lot of material in this bed, don't you? You know, that's one of the things I wanted to talk to you about. So you've got to, once you build this, and I can see you really know how to build them, and they look great. But once you build them, you've got to fill it with something.
Absolutely.
What do you guys use when you're here?
So this one is full all the way to the bottom. We do a lot of composting that we just fill in the bottoms, and over time that'll turn into good soil. But what's important is about 1 foot or 2 foot under your plant in your rooting zone is where you really want the good stuff, like your potting mix or finished compost there for you.
Okay.
Now you don't have to fill it all the way though. You could just come about halfway and put a board under there. If you just want the regular height, you don't need to fill it. It'll save you money on your soil cost.
I can imagine, because these are costly to build anyway. You want to try to reduce that cost as much as you can.
Absolutely. Definitely use whatever materials you have on hand.
Right. I mean, we've got even concrete blocks, cinder blocks.
Concrete blocks, you can use bricks. I've seen people turn old pallets into beds. So there's really, it's all in your imagination.
All what you've got and what works for your budget.
Chris, I have a friend that actually converted a picnic table into a raised bed. All she did was took the picnic table and added boards on top, on the sides, and made her a square. And then she even kept the benches so she could sit and work on it at the same time. Now it has the slats already in the picnic table, so it does allow for that water to drain out, which is important.
Well, Rachel, this is great, nice tall bed, but if somebody wanted to do something a little smaller, less costly, could they do that?
It all depends on what you're trying to grow. If you wanted a root vegetable, you're gonna need that depth, but if you're just trying to do lettuce or anything, you can go with just a shorter bed like we have back here. And I will say, when you're starting, before you fill, we have landscape fabric down here, but you can also put cardboard boxes down, anything to keep the weeds from coming in.
That makes sense. But you probably still have a lot less weeds than you would out in conventional produce.
Absolutely, yes.
Well, overall, I think these raised beds are a great option for home gardeners.
Yes, they're my favorite.
They are. Thank you so much for telling us today how you put these together and talking to us this afternoon.
Thank you.
Well, for more information about raised beds and how to use them in your garden, contact your local county extension office and talk to a master gardener. For From the Ground Up, I'm Chris Mullins. We'll see you next time.
For more garden tips, go to inthegardenradio.com.
Hi, I'm Chef Tammy Brawley. Coming up on Heart of the Home, a delicious chilled cucumber and goat cheese soup with a goat cheese and pine knot crouton. We hope you'll stay with us.
And now, a sneak peek into a day in the life of a Virginia dairy cow. They get their day started. They have some lunch. Get some exercise. Spend time with their friends. And then end their day with dairy sweet dreams. Real dairy, real life, real delicious.
Cucumbers are one of the easiest vegetables for a home gardener to grow. Chef Tammy Brawley shows us how to make a delicious cucumber soup. in the heart of the home.
Hi, I'm Chef Tammy Brawley from the Green Kitchen. I'm here today to show you a delicious chilled cold soup for the summertime. It's got your garden variety cucumbers in it, some cilantro, some goat cheese, and some buttermilk. So let's get started. You want to have a blender kind of waiting on the side and ready. So what we're going to do is to the blender, we are going to add some peeled and seeded cucumber. What I want to show you, my little trick, is this. Who knows what the end of the peeler is for? It's got that little divot on there. What's great about it is you can go through the cucumber right just like this, and out come those seeds, because you want to peel these things and you also want to take the seeds out. So we're going to come back and break that one last piece down. We're going to add that to the blender. We're going to add about a half a cup of cilantro that I'm not going to chop. I simply chopped off the top of the bunch there. Those stems, don't worry about that. They're nice and soft. They're going to be full of flavor. We're going to add that to the blender. We have a lime here that we've zested mostly. We're going to finish zesting that. Nice microplane grater works wonderful for that. We have a nice lime zest. We're going to drop that into the blender. And we want to use that delicious juice too. So we're going to cut it in half. And we're going to juice a lime completely into our blender. All right. And then we want to add about 10 ounces of goat cheese. Goat cheese will get real soft if you let it sit out for a while, but that's okay. You can still put that in the blender. And then last, you want about a cup of buttermilk. And we're going to let the blender do the work for us. And then we want our soup to chill. And I'm going to turn this up on high. It's going to get quite noisy. I'm going to open the top and I'm just going to sprinkle a little salt in there. All right, I sprinkled about a tablespoon or so of salt in there, and now you can pop this blender right into the refrigerator, and we're going to let it chill for about a half an hour. While that's chilling, I'm going to show you how to make a delicious goat cheese crouton. Now you can toast nuts a couple of ways. You can either toast them in the oven on 350 degrees, or you can put them into a pan and let them go that way. So we want to have our pan on a nice and high temperature pretty much. We've got about a tablespoon or so of pine nuts in here. We're going to toss those into our pan. And we're just going to kind of move it around a little bit. It's not going to take very long. I would not recommend that you answer the phone or answer the door while these are in the pan. That's just experience talking. So they're going to get nice and brown. And one of the things you might have noticed that I absolutely did not do is I put no liquid, no fat in that pan at all. It does need to be dry. That's very important. All right, we are done with our nuts here. They are completely finished. Now what you do want to make sure you do pretty quickly is get them off of that pan, because the pan has a lot of residual heat. So what we're going to do is just move our cutting board out of the way. We can put our pine nuts right on the board. You can smell them. Oh, well, at least I can smell them anyway. And you can see how brown they've gotten. These are actually pretty perfect. If I'd let them stay in that pan much longer, they would have gotten way too brown and way too fast. So you kind of let them spread out. You do want them to kind of cool, because otherwise they are going to melt the goat cheese. And what I've done here is over on the side is I have 2 little discs of goat cheese here. I'm going to pick one up. You can lay it right on the pine nuts. I love doing these. These are not only pretty on top of soups and things, but they're also delicious. These nuts are still a little warm, so they're probably going to end up melting the cheese a little bit, but does that mean it's not going to be edible? I don't think so. So we just kind of want to form them onto the goat cheese there. We'll do another one for you here. And in a moment, we'll take our soup out of the refrigerator. All right, and now our soup is chilled for about a half an hour or so, and we're going to take the lid off of our blender. We're going to plate it in our bowl here. And what we have done with our goat cheese croutons is toast our pine nuts and then add it around. Now, I will just, full disclaimer here, it might sink to the bottom, so just be aware of that, but it does look pretty. Oh, the bowl was shallow enough it held it. Isn't that pretty? Delicious chilled cucumber soup with goat cheese, cilantro, lime juice. I'm Tammy Brawley from the Green Kitchen, and we hope you join us again on Heart of the Home.
Recipes from the Heart of the Home can be found on the Virginia Farm Bureau website at vafb.com/recipes, as well as on Chef Tammy Brawley's website at greenkitchenrichmond.com.
In addition to being popular backyard vegetables, cucumbers are grown commercially on 386 acres of land by 456 farmers in the Old Dominion. They're usually grown in combination with other fresh vegetables, and the majority of each year's crop is sold to consumers at farmers markets or through community-supported agriculture operations. However, 59 Virginia farms report they also raise cucumbers to become pickles and other processed foods. Turning cucumbers into pickles is one of the easiest ways to preserve your own food at home, since they only need a simple boiling water bath to be safe.
It seems like some parts of Virginia were just designed to raise cattle. That's the case with Amherst County, where Burke Moeller visits for our regular county agricultural close-up.
Located just north of the town of Lynchburg, Amherst County is on the eastern edge of the Blue Ridge Mountains, and the shade from these mountains make this an ideal place to raise cattle. Not only does the shadow keep cattle and other livestock cool in the summer months, it also helps produce ideal grass for them to graze.
We've always been large for cattle. What we're seeing is kind of a transition to more unique agricultural options, such as the vineyards that are coming in. We're seeing breweries, the orchards, but a lot of small family farms trying to fill in specialty niches, direct marketing through the farmers market.
Bill Tucker raises his cattle in the northern part of the county on property that has been in his family for over 150 years. While growth and development are concerns for agricultural producers across Virginia, the mountain terrain in the northern part of Amherst County is better suited to cattle farming.
The future for agriculture in Amherst is good. We're on a lot of ground that doesn't lend itself to development.
Tucker primarily caters to new cattle producers who want to improve the genetics of their herds. He's found credibility and communication to be important parts of his business model.
They want to be able to look you in the eye and feel like you're a trustworthy person, that you're transparent, that you're inviting in terms of your own operation, that there aren't any secrets. They want to know that anything that they buy from you to put into their bodies is something that you're putting into your children's bodies in terms of nutrition.
As the Lynchburg metro area grows, Tucker sees a dwindling number of farms in the county. He believes sharing a love of the land is one way to keep agriculture prominent in the area.
Education is as important for us anymore as it is actually the act of farming, making sure that we stay connected not just to our consumer but to our neighbors, and make sure that young folks come to not only appreciate the environment that we work and live in, but also their role in making sure that space stays as beautiful as they sometimes take for granted.
Amherst County is a short drive south of Charlottesville along Route 29 and is home to Sweetbriar College for women. Agriculture is an important part of what students learn on campus. There's an apiary, a large greenhouse where students grow items for their community-supported agriculture subscription program, as well as a market for neighbors to buy fresh vegetables twice a week. Educators here are also looking at new ways to incorporate agriculture into their curriculum.
This is the first year where we've offered our Leadership in Sustainable Agriculture and Food Systems Certificate Program, which is available to students in any major at the college who want to develop this expertise in sustainable agriculture and food systems, really drawing on the resources of our campus.
There are 369 farms in Amherst County, covering 78,812 acres. The market value of all agricultural products is $8,143,000. Livestock accounts for over half of that at $4,626,000, with cattle and calves making up $4,503,000. Crops account for $3,517,000,
with hay making up $1,084,000. Will Barnes and his father Scott are two of the larger crop producers in Amherst County. Together they run Morris Orchard, and their main revenue is their apple and peach orchard. Pumpkins are also a big draw in the fall, and agritourism is taking on an important role year-round.
The biggest change for us on the farm has probably been the growth of Liberty University over in Lynchburg, which has brought out a lot more crowd to the farm on our fall weekends and all.
The Barnes family has just opened a lakeside cottage for visitors and have listed it on Airbnb. Even though they are primarily an orchard, visitors to the cottage will find plenty of cattle grazing nearby. Christine Vrooman and her husband Dennis were veterinarians in Virginia Beach for most of their careers and retired to Amherst County for a change of scenery. What they found instead was something unexpected, both for them and the wine industry. They were able to grow Pinot Noir grapes successfully, something hard to do anywhere in the U.S. other than Oregon, and basically unheard of on the East Coast.
Virginia, in the last 10 years, has really catapulted to the world stage in the quality of wine it's able to produce. We have, the factors are many. We had a very friendly state government. It was offering a lot of funding over those years. We had foreign, French and South African winemakers that have come in with their expertise of generations of wine crafting knowledge. A lot of research going on at Tech, and a lot of collegiality within members of the industry, sharing what worked for them, what doesn't work for them. So the wine industry here in Central Virginia is really like one big family.
Right now, Ankita Ridge is a day visit, but with the views in the vineyard, they're looking to one day include overnight facilities. That's just one example of how the people of Amherst County are constantly adapting to their environment and keeping agriculture's prominent role in their community for generations to come. In Amherst County, Virginia, I'm Burke Moeller reporting.
We're so glad you could join us this week to celebrate all the bounty Virginia has to offer. From the kitchen to your home and garden to our beautiful wide open spaces, we are proud to say that this is real Virginia. For everyone from the Virginia Farm Bureau, thanks for watching. Make it a great week.
Home will always be Virginia, between the Blue Ridge and Chesapeake Bay, Atlantic to Appalachia, home in my heart always.
Those who struggle each and every single day just to make those ends meet, but still continue in this industry, are the true role models for those of us who continue to grow in the agriculture industry, especially those of us in FFA and 4-H. We youth organizations look up to you as you're the leaders of this industry, and we learn and we thank you for all that you do to help continue to support us.
Thank you, Forward.